Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. I've got some good news and some bad news. What do you want first? I see you're a pessimist like me. Bad news it is then. The bad news is that microplastics have just been found in human blood. We're all pretty much doomed. The good news is that you can save yourself and the world by buying another watch. Sort of anyway. The watch on my wrist today is made entirely of recycled ocean plastic. The plastic in the ocean is a main source of these microplastics entering our bloodstream. This seems to be an emerging trend in watch world. I first spotted this in 2019 when Oris used upcycled ocean plastics first in the case back of their watches, then in the packaging, and then eventually on the dial of their watches. Today's review though was prompted by the release of the Maurice Lacroix Aikon earlier on this year, a range of colourful quartz watches all made of ocean plastics recycled. However, those watches are $1,000 each and I wondered if there was something more economically viable, and there is. I paid 140 odd Aussie dollars, just over 100 US dollars for this Triwa. They also do a dive style version which is just a little bit more cash. Now let's be honest, you're not going to save the world by buying a watch. You're going to save the world by not consuming plastics, and I am no better than anybody else when it comes to that. But if the fact that the watch on your wrist is made of recycled plastic prompts you to think critically about your plastic consumption, then perhaps it is a good thing after all, and not just a cynical marketing exercise. But the eternal question remains, is the watch actually any good? Is it plastic fantastic, or should it have been left in the ocean with the turtles and the dolphins? Let's flip the camera and find out. I suspect today the review is going to be shorter than the intro. There's not a lot going on here. But before I open the box, it's a nice box, let's talk a little bit more about the brand. Triwa, a brand I had heard of before, but not reviewed before. Like so many of these companies, they are Swedish, founded in Stockholm by four friends in 2007, so 15 years old now. Triwa, transforming the industry of watches. Okay, so before people were disrupting the industry, they were attempting to transform it. Lots of young and beautiful people in the advertising material. I appreciate I am neither of those things. The Ocean range I've already talked about, both bezel-less and dive style bezel versions in a variety of different colours. They also make these ones in their Time for Peace range. The metal used is humanium. This is made of retrieved and recycled illegal firearms from conflict zones. So again, a nice message behind that one. Plus they do this one, they donate some money to the Mind mental health charity. Apparently this watch senses your mood and is able to display it somehow in a variety of colours. Okay. But apart from those ones, most of the rest of the watches are, how should I put this, junk. Just $5 Chinese fashion junk, so I am by no means endorsing you to all rush out and buy a Triwa today. I think that the tagline on the side of the box here is very indicative today, very instructive. Stories for your wrist. You're buying a story, you're buying a cause, you're buying a nice message. What you're not buying is an heirloom, something to pass on to your firstborn child. The packaging is nice though. All made of paper and cardboard, all made of recycled paper and cardboard at that. I think you're going to see more and more watch brands start taking their environmental impact seriously. They even include a carbon footprint for this watch. I'll talk a bit about that later. And there it is, a fun and colourful little watch, this one. Perhaps not something to treasure and pass on to your children, but perhaps something to buy your children as a bit of a message. I can see this one ending up on the wrists of youngsters. It's a suitable size and weight for that as well. So 37mm in diameter, 11.3mm thickness. Look at the smile on the crown, a nice little touch there as well. 45.7 lug to lug, 20mm lug width, and on this supplied recycled ocean plastic nylon strap, it weighs in a little slip of a thing, 43 grams. So recycled ocean plastic case and recycled ocean plastic bracelet. It does have a stainless steel crown. It has a stainless steel press on case back, 100 meters of water resistance. So it's definitely fit for the ocean from whence it came. And we have a domed mineral crystal here. Quite interesting actually, when you get it outside, there's a wave dial, a wave pattern to this dial. I'll show you in more detail in a minute or two. And that combined with the domed mineral crystal leads to some pleasant distortion and some nice effects. Super simple case finish here. Actually wears a little like a vintage watch because it is quite flat. I'll show you on wrist later on. Kind of dark, slightly mottled effect that you will get from plastic, and it may be a little bit cutesy, but I must admit that little smile makes me smile as well. It's a decent quality two-piece recycled nylon Zulu with plenty of strap holes. I've got a 7-inch wrist, I'm pretty much in the middle, meaning you're down to a 6-inch wrist or up to an 8-inch wrist, giving this one genuine appeal for all ages and both sexes, I think. Stamped with Triwa on one side, the all-important recycled logo on the other side, and some serious kind of gunmetal Zulu style hardware on the other side. Plenty of high quality stitching. It looks like it's going to last the course, that one. And the Triwa logo and all of those little waves are just printed on the case back, but it is nice and crisply printed, advertising 100 meters of water resistance. Again, the fact that it's made of recycled ocean plastic, in case you had forgotten, and that the brand hails from Sweden. And behind that case back is a Miyota 2035 quartz 3-hander without date, but I don't think that is going to matter a jot to most of the people who buy this thing. I think the funky looks and that ocean plastic recycle theme are what matters here. So it looks like it has a molded dial. I'll show you in more detail in just a minute or two. Triwa brand logo in white beneath the triangle at 12, ocean plastic above the Arabic at 6. You could almost call this one a Rolex Explorer homage if you were being particularly cruel, but yeah, it does have a similar layout. Circular dots for the hours, minute markers for the minutes around the outer edge. And it's a fun and colourful handset. There's a red arrowhead hour hand, there's a silver sword minute hand, and a yellow needle second hand. No loom on the yellow second hand. Mind you, when I show you the loom video, there's not that much loom on this watch, full stop, to be honest. But when you look at the watch closely, the wave patterning actually looks really good. See, you don't have to drop 6 Gs on a Seamaster to get that wave dial. So waves on the front, waves on the back, recycled symbols everywhere. They're constantly reminding what this watch does and why you bought it in the first place. 37 is not a bad size. I've got a 7-inch wrist and I'm quite comfortable wearing this style and size of watch. As I said, almost vintage style in the way that the case is quite flat, which does help give it a little more bulk, though how much bulk a watch at 43 grams made entirely of plastic can have is debatable here today. If you want something with a bit more wrist presence, you should definitely go for the one with the dive style bezel. Legibility is okay on this model. It will obviously depend on the colour you choose. That silver grey minute hand, yeah, they could have gone with something lighter and brighter, I think, for more impact here, without having changed the overall effect at all. And once again, you can see that wave dial patterning in natural light more. You can see the contours and a little bit of extra depth. You can also see or get an idea as to how that domed mineral crystal does interact with that wave dial when you move the watch around. On wrist, yeah, slightly awkward wearing, but at 43 grams, you barely notice this thing is there at all. And the pocket shot to finish. This turquoisey blue can liven up even my dullest outfit choice. Moans and niggles. Do I even have to? I wouldn't call this watch throwaway because that would be entirely wrong, because most of the watch has already been thrown away and retrieved, but yeah, it's kind of light, it's kind of flimsy. Imagine a Swatch, that type of thing, but at about twice the price. So yeah, you're paying for that message. You're paying for the good cause that's behind this one. And the loom is crap. I mean, really, really crap, amongst the worst I've seen. When I crank the speed up here, the Arabics disappear within about 2 minutes and the hands disappear within about 6 minutes. It's rubbish. But I did rather prove my point. If you want something made of recycled plastic, you don't have to spend $1,000 on one of those Maurice Lacroix Aikons. This Triwa, especially on sale, is much, much affordable that. I can see this one being more relevant here in Australia with a big beach culture than perhaps in Wyoming, for example, which doesn't have any beaches. And I can also see it being more relevant to younger generations perhaps than older generations. And like I said, I've never seen a company talking about the carbon footprint of each watch they manufacture before. I think that's something we're going to see more and more throughout the industry as people finally realise we are destroying this planet and our own future prospects into the bargain. So Greta Thunberg, if you're watching, hit me up, send me an email and I'll send you this one for free. So there you have it. This Triwa is a bit of fun with a good message behind it, so long as you know you're buying a message rather than a quality timepiece necessarily for your cash. If you would like to have a look at a Swatch that's made entirely of plastic, have a look at this video. Thanks for watching, see you soon.